So this week on BritLit Unsolved, we investigate the death of Andrew Marvell, a notable political spokesman and poet in 1650s London.
London, eh?
Every single time you open your mouth, I feel a part of my soul shrivel inside.
As you should.
Anyway, we briefly covered his life earlier in the presentation, so we'll get straight to the meaty part, his death. Let's get to the meat.
In July 1681, Andrew Marvell visited his hometown of Hull, England, and fell ill on his journey back to London. He then died shortly after in his lodgings on August 16, 1681. According to the sexton of the church who made the grave, they buried him 2 days later on August 18th, quote, under the pews in the south side of St. Giles Church in the Fields, under the window wherein is painted on glass a red lion, end quote.
So this is all pretty straightforward. He goes for a vacation or whatever, comes back, gets ill.
You know something? Yeah. I have found that these people just die. Just whatever. Just,
Do other people not die?
No, I feel like there are more causes, There's more, you don't just, go to California and on the drive back, you're like, oh, my gut, and then just die.
I mean, people go on vacation and get sick all the time, because, the stress from, going from one place to another.
No, I never felt stressed while traveling.
Oh, what's it like to have a great immune system? Please
Fantastic.
teach me.
I haven't been sick since I was 10. So
I don't believe that, but moving forward.
Because of his sudden death, there are many speculations floating around about what exactly caused Andrew Marvell's demise. We've narrowed it down to 3.
See, that's what I'm saying. I need a cause, a reason, the
Okay.
why.
So we'll get into it.
So let's get into it.
The first cause, which was popular around the time of his death, was believed to be poison. You see, as a politician, Marvell was known for his bitter satirical prose. He wrote against corruption of the court, criticized the monarchy and Roman Catholicism, defended Puritan dissenters, and denounced censorship.
You can see how all that makes him a really popular guy.
I don't know.
That political climate.
What a way to go. You tell people what you think, you get poisoned, which is badass, by the way, and then die, and you're like, what?
It's a theory. It's a theory that he was poisoned. It was very popular around his time.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one out of the one that you've told me.
People specifically believe that Jesuits, part of the Roman Catholic Church, poisoned Marvell for his harsh criticisms. This rumor gained popularity due to the political events that followed a few months after his death, eerily sharing similarities to an anonymously published pamphlet called An Account of the Growth of Popery and Arbitrary Government.
Popery? Like the stuff that
No,
you put in a
not
bowl?
Pope. That is a different.
It's scented, like pine cones,
Yeah,
right?
but this is Pope, as in the Pope, and an R-Y.
The Pope can be a pine cone, I'm not against it.
Potpourri. Anyway, this anonymous...
You know what else is a stupid word? Papacy. What does that even mean?
Papacy?
Oh, God.
Papacy like Papa John's!
This anonymous political tract denounces the growing influence of both France and Catholicism at the English court, and by extension in the English government. It includes authentic transcripts from the House of Commons, but doesn't criticize the King, Charles II. Instead, it praises him. In fact, this was so controversial that the government offered £100, a vast sum at the time, for its author's identity. The pamphlet was later revealed to have been written by our man himself, Andrew Marvell, who had been an elected member of Parliament since 1659.
So this is pretty strong enough reason, but it's very circumstantial. The fact that the pamphlet sort of prophesized the events that followed his death politically, and so this isn't enough information or evidence to really pinpoint Marvell's death as murder by poison.
Well, it couldn't be the government, even though we know they've killed before. On to the next one.
All right.
A second cause of Marvell's death, mostly agreed upon by historians, is believed to be complications brought upon by fever.
So, whatever. Fine. I accept.
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty old. He was 57. So.
old for then.
Yeah, old for them, probably.
I don't know, if some 60-year-old comes up to me and complains about how old they are, and I'm like, you got time. Okay, relax. You will make it. I promise.
That's very optimistic.
Thank you. I've never been sick in my life.
Wow, you're saying, as a healthy person, to someone who is much older and more susceptible to illness, that don't worry about it. I'm not sick. You won't get sick. Like, A does not equal B, Erwin.
You choose to die.
Colonel Grosvenor wrote to George Treby, a member of Parliament, on August 17th, reporting that, quote, Andrew Marvell died yesterday of apoplexy, end quote.
Explain that.
Apoplexy is also known as cerebral hemorrhage or stroke. So he's saying he got, like, after he felt ill, his brain just...
He got that bad brain.
Yeah.
The bad
juice.
juice.
It's probably, like, complications from fever. Like, that could happen. If your fever gets too high, then your brain basically, like, cooks itself.
Wouldn't the brain... See, I don't understand the human brain. Wouldn't your brain be like, alright, gotta turn that shit down, off.
I mean, that's why...
Stop preheating the oven. The oven is heated.
The oven is
Cool the oven down.
You make us sound like we should be androids or something like, oh yeah, let me just turn on my cooling fan and you're like, I don't know.
Another illness stated as the cause of death is tertian ague, also known as malaria.
So this is the the most commonly stated illness that historians agree upon, that he got malaria.
You know what's interesting is I feel like they, diseases go through trends. You know what I mean? Like, last season, tuberculosis was pretty popular. This season, everyone's going for malaria. Then the Black Death or whatever.
The Black Death was way before.
Another trend. There you go.
Tertian ague is what leads us to our third cause of death.
Medical malpractice.
There are a lot of people out there who should not be doctors.
In the British medical periodical Athenaeum, March 7th, 1874 issue, Dr. Gee translated and published an extract from Richard Morton's Physiologica, or A History of Fevers, containing a full account of Marvell's sickness and death. Morton, in Gee's translation, states that Marvell died because of, quote, the ignorance of an old, conceited doctor who was in the habit on all occasions of raving excessively against Peruvian bark, as if it were a common plague.
So Peruvian bark was the common cure for malaria at the time.
Okay.
It contained quinine or whatever, and that was usually used to treat, like, early stage malaria. So, like, that was what they went for. But Morton is saying that the doctor that treated Marvell was like, Peruvian bark is, humbug, I never use it.
I love this, like, Scrooge McDuck voice
Yeah.
you're using.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me. That's about to get spicy here. That's like vaccines today, Like, if something has been proven to at least help or lessen, then you might as well use it, use what you got, try it out, So if you're just being like, screw this medicine, like, what, did you want him to die? Just curious, just wondering.
Well, let me continue.
Blood was copiously drawn for the patient, and a great febrifuge was given, a draught, that is to say, a venous treacle, etc., end quote.
Bloodletting is disgusting.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. Like, why would you feed the leech? That's my thing. Get off of me.
He's a hungry boy.
Not my problem.
He's a hungry boy.
Not my problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So instead of
mosquitoes with more legs.
they don't have legs.
Gross.
They're like slugs.
Get some legs.
Like they're like they have two holes and they stick out. So they suck the blood out and then they like leak.
Poop.
Yeah.
The doctor then ordered Marvell to be, quote, buried under blankets, end quote, to sweat out the fever while he slept.
Oh, girl. Oh, so you have no blood. You have all fever. And you're just, like, drugged. Like,
Yeah.
just for fun.
Morton somberly writes, in the short space of 24 hours from the time of the ague fit, he died comatose. He died who, had a single ounce of Peruvian bark been properly given, might have easily escaped in 24 hours from the jaws of the grave and the disease. And so burning with anger, I informed the doctor when he told me the story without any sense of shame.
Wow. So he was just like, yep, he died, but I mean, like, it happens. Part of life.
Yeah. Like Morton was like pissed. He's like, we literally have the means of like
Saving this person.
Yeah. We literally have the means of like curing malaria.
I mean, maybe you should get yourself together.
Yeah, like
maybe
the
you
fact
should have paid attention
the
in
fact
class.
that Morton said that the doctor told him the story without any sense of shame, like
Suspicious.
very suspicious.
Very suspicious.
And you want to know another interesting fun fact?
I sure do.
Peruvian bark is also known as Jesuits bark.
I don't know what that.
Like the Jesuits who are accused of poisoning.
It's all coming together.
And then Venetian treacle is used to, cure poisons.
Interesting.
Let that sink in. Just ruminate in that. Marinate.
Come back to me in 3 to 6 hours.
Now that we've covered the 3 probable causes of Andrew Marvell's death, let's go over a couple more details about his final resting place. Around 1730 to 1734, St. Giles Church was rebuilt over its old brick structure, only 44 years after its original construction. In 1764, the poet's grandnephew, Mr. Robert Nettleton, placed a black marble slab on the north side of the present church. On it is a long epitaph that says, "Near to this place lieth the body of Andrew Marvell, Esquire." In 1774, Captain Thompson, quote, visited the grand mausoleum under the Church of St. Giles to search for the coffin in which Mr. Marvell was placed. In this vault were deposited upwards of 1,000 bodies, but I could find no plate of an earlier date than 1722. I do therefore suppose the new church is built upon the former burial place. End quote.
So like even his family doesn't know where he is.
That's, something. That's power. To be able to avoid everyone in your life. No one knows anything. Nothing. And then you die and they still don't know. Power.
Like literally you have a grave and like, yeah, we don't think he's even here anymore.
Exactly. And you're like, okay, leave. Let me die in peace. I am resting. Bye.
Not much is known about the private life of Andrew Marvell. His public life, on the other hand, was controversial and full of drama. His abrupt passing only adds to the mystery of this metaphysical poet. For now, the factors surrounding the cause of Andrew Marvell's sudden death remains unsolved.
Man. Right? Like, this all comes together, but people are like, yeah, he just died of malaria. But like, the doctor
But there was more to that.
Wow.
This man was like, I don't know, maybe he was terrible. Maybe he just sucked, Like maybe once he left, it was like a conspiracy, like, alright, you're gonna take away his blood, you're gonna poison him, you make a, seizure happen. It's all coming together.
If you're a doctor and your last name is Morton, like isn't Mort, like doesn't it mean death? And like
No, well, I mean, are we gonna talk about like morticians? They deal with death.
yeah, but
They
like
don't necessarily
your doctor
kill.
comes in and it says, "Hi, I'm Dickie Death."
Richard Boyd, I'm Dickie Death. And you're like, that's sick, dude. You're my doctor forever.
Like you're gonna be like, "Well, I'm a bit concerned, but I hope I don't die." Like
He's like, me too.
bro, me too.